All right, it's Ohio Political News coming to you on a Monday night. Woo! Yeah, it's the podcast show, and it's snowing different colors. That's what's happening tonight. Yeah, we're gonna dip into some of the news stories that's been happening. I want to bring in the partner in crime here, Timothy Shea from the MAG Institute. Good to see you, Timothy. So the government is going to shut down. They're going to shut the government down in a matter of what, like 2 days, I believe it is. Is that right? It's about 2 days. They're going to shut the government down.
We're under 72 hours, so we can start counting down the hours now.
That's worth a sip of this stuff here, and it's not spiked either. Okay, it's just regular. Yeah, but anyhow, yeah. So what's the implications? What are the implications of a shutdown? I think a lot of people might be like, will we even notice? You know, a lot of people say you can get rid of half the employees in the federal government and no one would even know. We'd probably run more efficiently. So what do you have any idea? What is it that Schumer wants in order to avert this shutdown?
Well, you're absolutely right. This is going to be the Schumer shutdown. My senior senator, Chuck Schumer, who you'd think he'd know better because Donald Trump donated to Chuck his entire political career. Donald Trump knows Chuck. He knows where all the pressure points are. And Schumer wants about $1 trillion in spending, most of it for illegals, the Democrats' precious illegals.
Right.
Healthcare for illegals, and this for illegals, and that for illegals. I think we're going to have a gold-plated Rolls Royce for the illegals in exchange for Schumer not shutting down the government.
Right.
The president's over here saying, okay, Chucky, go ahead with your Schumer shutdown, and here's what I'm going to do. If you shut the government down, the people that are furloughed because they're not essential to be here when the government is shut down, well, they're not essential to be here when the government isn't shut down.
Well, yeah.
So he's basically threatening the government employee unions, get your boy in line or else your people are losing their jobs.
Right. So, and, you know, Trump is not going to be intimidated by Chuck Schumer. Give me a break. That's like being intimidated by your, younger sister or something. It's like, come on. And that Hakeem Jeffries, I was laughing. They were both at the podium, making these demands to Trump. And it's like, give me a break. It's hilarious. It's another clown show. So I hope it does get shut down. I would like to see. I know Trump wants to scale down the federal government even more. This is one way to do it, and then just blame it all on the Democrats. You can easily do that.
I have been in favor of every single government shutdown that's happened since I've been alive. Because here's the thing, a shutdown isn't a shutdown. We both know that, Joe. The military stays funded. Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare still stay funded.
Well, that's a question I have for you.
That still stay funded. All the important people still have to go to work. The only people that get shut down are the fluff.
Right. But when we're talking about Medicaid, I think that he wants the Democrats want this Medicaid, this Obamacare also. They want a lot of these things that have already been hacked and cut away by Trump. They want them reinstated. Like that's really going to happen. And like we're really going to up another $1 trillion more in debt. We're already at $37 trillion. We got to start. So I think the Democrats, this is all just phony fluff from the Democrats. I really don't think anything like is going to come of it at all. Let me ask you, let's just... I want to move over to Gavin Newsom for a minute here, unless you have something else on the shutdown. But I think it's just going to blow over. How many times have they threatened to shut down the government, and how many times has it impacted us?
Zero.
Right.
Like I said, I've been rooting for the shutdown every single time.
Exactly.
And this time I'm really rooting for it because I'd like to see a lot of these government jobs disappear. Let people go out and get jobs in the real economy.
Right, go out and get a real job. These people don't show up. They work at home, but they don't really work. They get paid really well. They got these big benefit packages, everything that works. These federal employees, they got it made. They don't realize what it's really like in the real world. They're going to find out. And we don't need them. We're the ones paying their salaries. We don't need them. Okay, great. All right, so Gavin Newsom, or New Scum, as Trump likes to refer to him as, he was on X, and he was toying with Trump. Not a good thing to do. He was saying you already pay more for eggs, coffee, toys, shoes, electricity, furniture, cars, and flights, New Scum wrote. Now Trump wants to raise taxes for you to go see the movies. But this guy, Gavin Newsom, he has single-handedly destroyed California.
Yeah.
Half the
guy
state is burned down.
Yeah, he's the guy that's upset that the president refilled the reservoirs that Newsom left empty for years.
Yeah, right.
and Newsom is fining Pacific Palisades homeowners because they haven't rebuilt. All the federal permits are in place, and yet not a single private residence is under construction in Pacific Palisades. Why is that, Gavin?
Yeah. That is so. So what are all these people doing? They got their homes destroyed. There hasn't been anything done to rebuild them yet. What's going on with them?
They're in limbo, same as the people in North Carolina. The only difference is the people in North Carolina don't have the financial wherewithal that the people in Pacific Palisades have. Right.
Yeah, that's another really bad situation, North Carolina. The flooding.
And Joe, I got to tell you, tell me that HARP can't steer storms without telling me that Donald Trump is president. This is the third hurricane in a row that was supposed to whack the East Coast that all of a sudden took a 90-degree right-hand turn out into the middle of the ocean.
And now you're talking about North Carolina?
Imelda, yeah, Hurricane Imelda, just like the last two, came up, hard 90-degree turn out into the middle of the ocean. They're using HARP to steer these storms. Well, then why did all the other storms hit the continental U.S.? You got to ask yourself, who was running HARP back then?
So what is HARP, real quick? I guess I'm not real familiar with it, but that's something to...
High-altitude amplitude radar. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the acronym.
But you're saying that...
Basically what it is, you're beaming high-energy radar into the upper atmosphere in order to change the air currents. The Air Force has been working on weather modification since it was founded back in the 1950s or late 40s. It's something. Weather modification is something that is a strategic asset that we have been working on, and that's what the HARP array is. It's an array of radar up in Alaska, and the theory is that they can change the path of storms by changing the jet stream.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Based on, go look at the last three storm tracks. A hurricane almost never takes a 90-degree turn, much less three in a row.
No, I believe you. There's so much going on with the weather and all that, and this cloud seeding and all that kind of stuff. I put nothing past anyone or anything like that. All right, here's another picture of Trump. You didn't know that he was out at the beach. Hey, that's actually Comey's beach. If you look close to that, FAFO, and you know what that means, right? So there's Trump out of
fool around and find out.
Yeah, fool around to find out. So he's because it cracks me up because Comey is always finding these seashells, these strange formation of seashells when he's walking along. Yeah, mysteriously. So that's a good one there. So Trump just giving him something to think about. Now Comey, let's look at him. This character is pretty crazy. Let's see. President Donald Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi. By the way, what do you think of Pam Bondi? Good, bad, or indifferent? What do you think? Because I've heard a lot of stuff saying that she's got to get toughen up. She's got to get tough. And a lot of people saying she's not. I mean, a lot of good conservatives saying that she's just not tough.
Here's something I don't like. I don't like Roger Stone let out in handcuffs at 6 a.m. in front of the world's cameras that were pre-positioned outside his house. And James Comey is allowed to come in the next day to surrender and then doesn't, and they still don't bust his door down. They give him until October 6th, I think, to turn himself in. What is this turn yourself in? I want the boy perp walked, and I want him in an orange prison jumpsuit that's just a mite tight in the crotch. His lanky 6'9" frame. He is
one tall dude. That's right.
For a guy 5'10".
Yeah, give him a 5'10" jumpsuit and make him suffer.
Seriously though, Roger Stone and Steve Bannon, they perp walked. Peter Navarro, they strip searched. They strip searched Peter Navarro because he wouldn't comply with an illegal subpoena from Congress. They strip searched him, a 74-year-old man. And they're going to allow James Comey to turn himself in whenever he feels like it? The hell with that, Pam.
Yeah, right. So Pam Bondi's got to get tougher. She talks pretty good from the podium, but you can't judge by that. You got to go by the results, and the results have been kind of not
now with regard to this indictment, people are like, it's only a page and a half indictment. These are holding charges. Don't worry about the charges. These are charges to put a stake in the ground to stop the statute of limitations, and they're of their own, in their own accord, they're serious charges. They're exactly the same charges that Navarro and Bannon went to prison for, which, except he actually lied. Bannon and Navarro didn't lie. They just didn't comply. But obstruction of Congress and lying to Congress. But what it is, the next indictment you're going to see is going to be for Brennan, because they got to stop the statute of limitations from tolling on him as well. And then you're going to see a lot of other indictments, and then a superseding indictment is going to be filed covering the whole lot of them and charging them with the real charge, which is coming, if I'm not mistaken, which is seditious conspiracy.
And that's serious stuff right there. That's very serious stuff. But
that's death penalty. That's a capital offense right there.
Oh, that would, I hate to be, if you deserve the death penalty, I think you should get it. And treason is there, and these guys, we've got to set the example. That's my opinion. We got to get tough with all this stuff.
I mean, treason technically is aiding and abetting an enemy in time of war, so it's not treason, but seditious conspiracy is what people colloquially call treason.
Yeah, I have no patience anymore. No patience for anything.
The government.
They almost shot his ear off. Think about how lucky he was. What a miracle that was. With a high-powered bullet, grazing the side of your head. It was the hand
of the Holy Ghost just turning his head at the right moment.
I know, just at that exact split second. And then they killed Charlie Kirk, or somebody killed him. I think
somebody killed him.
Let's
compare these two shootings. Do we have a second to compare these two shootings?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the shooting in Butler, you've got a roof 200 yards from the president that's within the security perimeter. The perimeter looked like a Pac-Man. We got all these, everything's clear except for those buildings over there, but that's okay. They're outside the security perimeter. Somebody sees him up on the roof. They contact law enforcement. Law enforcement knows he's up on the roof. One cop goes up to apprehend him, and he swings around his rifle, and the cop ducks back down. But the Secret Service doesn't pull the president off the stage in an abundance of caution. And then when the shooting takes place, it wasn't one shot, Joe. Pop, 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 pop.
No, there are a lot of shots.
Down goes Corey Comparator. A couple other people get shot. The president gets shot. Compare that with Arizona State, where you've got one kid firing one round that hits Charlie in a trajectory that is wrong for the wound that he suffered. And now, did you see that Utah Valley University is repaving and completely redoing where he and
right, they're repaving and putting right, they're repaving everything right in that spot.
Dairy Queen where the kid ran to have his what did Dairy Queen call them? Blizzards. The Dairy Queen now, the signs are all off. The whole store is empty.
Wow.
Something's going on here, and it just smells an awful lot like Lee Harvey Oswald, who never fired a gun on the day that John Kennedy was shot.
All right, no, I agree with you. There's just too much. There's also, I watch some of these, they call it conspiracy of podcasts and stuff, but I think some of it is so legit. Well, they did timestamps, and this Tyler Robinson, so when the bullet hits, I mean, you can hear the fire of the bullet, and all of a sudden you see him running. Now that's physically impossible.
Yeah,
because, you're laying down. You have to fire, then you have to get up. Now, what do you do with his rifle? Apparently, he didn't have it when he jumped off the roof there of that second story.
No, he did. There's a couple of frames where you can see the rifle. It's
really?
It's hard to see because the trees in the background, but he had the rifle. Look, he was up.
Here's the point.
That roof.
He's running. I mean, you just can't hop up like a kangaroo, faster than a kangaroo, and then just be sprinting full speed.
Sprinting.
Yeah. So
Tyler Robinson was on that roof.
Yeah.
Tyler Robinson was on that roof. Tyler Robinson, because as soon as I saw the tape, I said, that's a 30-06. I recognized the sound of the rifle. Mm-hmm. Tyler Robinson is on the roof. Tyler Robinson has the gun. Tyler Robinson does fire a shot. But what did Cash say? We know we've got the guy because we got all sorts of DNA evidence from the ledge, the metal fascia, where he let himself down.
Right.
Okay, there's no question Tyler Robinson was involved.
Right.
The question is, was Tyler Robinson the shooter? I happen to think no.
Yeah, me too.
Based on just ballistics and
yeah.
Why was no autopsy done? Why was no autopsy done?
Yeah, I know. These autopsies never seem to get done.
Why was there no recreation with the dummy showing the wound track with lasers to? Yep, nope. The wound track was this. Charlie was sitting here. He's this tall. We got the laser pointed right to where he was. Look, I think there's a good chance that Tyler Robinson is going to walk if he has a halfway decent defense attorney. Because, again, remember, Joe, for a criminal conviction, it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. And we've got way more than reasonable doubt here.
Well, what's he doing up on the roof? I mean, he's got to be able to.
Well, like I said, I think he was part of a conspiracy. I think he was there. I think there was a plot. Was he the shooter? I don't know.
That's the same way I'm thinking too. I'm thinking that he definitely was on the roof, and he definitely jumped down, and they definitely have DNA evidence from him. I don't think he was the shooter though. And the timestamp that I saw, there's no way he could be running that fast.
Was it GSW? Okay, let's again get back to Lee Harvey Oswald. Do you know they did a GSW test, a gunshot residue test, GSR test on Lee Harvey Oswald? And it showed that he didn't fire a gun that day. He didn't kill Kennedy, and he didn't kill Officer Tippit.
Okay.
Did they do a GSR swab of Tyler Robinson? I haven't heard anything about that. I hope they did.
Yeah,
if they didn't, why didn't
haven't heard much?
Why didn't they do an autopsy? There's just too many questions about this.
Okay,
and then
you're absolutely right.
This Mormon church fire. Do you know that a Utah Valley University training plane was flying back and forth between Saginaw and Flint right over the university or right over the church when that shooting took place? There's just too many coincidences, Joe. I don't believe
I can't keep up with everything.
Like Steve Bannon, I don't believe in coincidences.
I can't keep up with everything. I have a life, and then there's just so much going on in politically speaking. It's crazy.
Well, that's why you have me on. I drink from the fire hose so you don't have to.
Right. Okay, one other thing about Comey. I just saw this on Fox News. I'm going to play this little tidbit from it. But he apparently hired 2 honeypots. 2 honeypots. I don't know if you heard about this. If you have, well, here it is.
By using 2 undercover agents in a so-called honeypot operation?
Incredible.
Todd Pyro joins us with details. Todd.
This is big. Under the leadership of new FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino, the Bureau has reportedly launched an investigation into the agency's plan to infiltrate President Trump's first campaign using 2 female undercover agents. The Washington Times reporting that the program was launched in 2015 by then FBI Director James Comey.
All right, hang on one second. So this is in addition to some of those charges. So when you say that there's only those 2 charges, one with Russiagate and something with the Wall Street Journal putting in some type of an article and whatever, this is something in addition to that. And I think they've got a lot more, but this is disgusting, man. This is absolutely disgusting.
FBI leaders are reportedly looking for those once undercover agents who are said to have infiltrated the Trump campaign at high levels. Back over to you.
This story is insane. Thank you so much, Todd. The whistleblower said that Comey personally directed it and using 2 female undercover agents as honeypots. They say it usually refers to an undercover operative who feigns sexual or romantic interest to obtain information on a target. So were these honeypots targeting Donald Trump? Were they targeting people on his team? Were they women that we were seeing on air all the time traveling with him?
If this is true, he's a dirty cop.
Yeah, he's dirty, all right. He's dirty in a lot of different ways. So they've got more on Comey than I think we really realize. And I want to see Comey behind bars. I want to see not only Comey, I want to see Pocahontas. I want to see Bernie Sanders.
Pocahontas, remember Pocahontas.
Yeah, Pocahontas.
She's a fake Indian. Let's not libel a noble Indian princess, Pocahontas.
Yeah, she's as phony as it gets. But all of those characters, AOC, Bernie Sanders,
no.
I want to see them all behind bars.
Yeah, we got a little bit different hierarchy here. I want Brennan, Comey, McCabe, Strzok, and his lover Lisa Page.
Oh yeah, I remember
the
those.
Orrs. I want all the Russiagate people. But then don't forget, we got to move over to all the COVID criminals. Fauci, Birx.
Oh, I'd love to get Fauci behind bars. Yeah, Fauci.
Scrotez down at Texas Children's Hospital. All of these people.
Yeah, they
Ralph
shut down.
Barrick, they all got to go to prison too.
Yeah, in Ohio here, we were the first state to shut down, thanks to our governor DeWine. He shut down the state of Ohio. Yep. He's the first one out of all 50.
I affectionately refer to him as DeWeenie.
Okay. Whatever, but
you didn't know he was Italian? Yeah, he's Italian. Joe.
Oh yeah, he's Italian. Is he Italian? I didn't know. Well, wait a minute, DeWine. No, yeah, I guess he has to be. DeWine. Yeah. Yeah, so we got shut. And now the irony of this whole thing is the health director that he hired, Amy Acton. Amy Acton was a Democrat. She was actually helping the Obama administration. She was helping Obama locally. I don't even know if she was getting paid, but she was out door knocking and doing all kinds of things she could for Obama. And wasn't really a medical doctor. She had residency. She was in residency a few years, and that was it. So she became the top medical professional in Ohio. So tell me why that happened. I just can't figure that one out. But here's the other irony of the whole thing now is we're going to have to get a new governor in there. And, of course, Vivek Ramaswamy is the Republican, and the Democrats are running Amy Acton. So I hope they run Amy Acton. She doesn't have a chance of winning. But it's the irony of that whole thing is just crazy and off the charts. All right. Let's see. Let me talk here for a minute about Ohio and its redistricting. I know you're not in Ohio, Tim. You're out in New York. But in Ohio, we have redistricting, so we're redrawing the maps, for congressional maps. Democrats are, fit to be tied in places like the Plain Dealer, Cleveland.com, which is a very liberal newspaper. They're saying it's not fair, gerrymandering. Right now we have 10 Republican congressional people in Ohio. So of the 15, we have 10 Republicans and 5 Democrats. Well, we're redrawing the maps. And when they're redrawn, we're going to get 2 more seats out of it, okay? We're going to swipe Amelia Sykes. She's out in the Akron area. And we're going to take the longest congressional lady in the history of the country.
Marcy Kraptor.
Marcy Kraptor. We're going to... she won last time without the so-called gerrymandering by less than 1%. And this time she's gone. Put a fork in it. It's going to happen. She's gone.
Yeah, look, gerrymandering isn't some sort of crime, right? It's how the process works. And of course, it's named for former Massachusetts Governor Eldridge Gerry. And it's not just Democrats that do it. Republicans do it too. But if you want to see the perfect example of gerrymandering, look at the city of Houston. You've got 3 congressional districts that almost look like a triskel. They're so interwrapped. It's like 3 salamanders all intertwined. We need to have geographically and culturally cohesive districts. You don't want a district that starts out in Akron that snakes all the way up toward Cleveland. You want to have congressional districts that represent communities. And I will say this about Marcy Kaptur. Marcy Kaptur keeps getting reelected because Marcy Kaptur does what most representatives should do and 99% of representatives don't do. She really focuses on constituent services. If you're having a tough time with Social Security Administration getting your check, you call Marcy's office, they take care of it immediately. Marcy does do a great job for her constituents. The problem is she's a tad over the hill, and it's nice to see some churn. That's why the founders gave us a House of Representatives with 2-year terms so that the House could be representative of the people's passion. Of course, we're not supposed to be electing our senators. Our state legislators are supposed to be electing our senators, but thanks to the 17th Amendment, that's gone away. But redistricting is normal, and you can call it gerrymandering, you can call it political shenanigans. It's the process. It's always been the process. The courts are there to protect people's voting rights and their civil rights. And Democrats, of course, are going to be suing, but I don't think they're going to win here, Joe. And I'm looking forward to an Ohio with +2 Republican districts.
They're not going to win because we have more Republicans on the Supreme Court, Ohio Supreme Court. We have 6 of the 7 are Republicans. Did you see this?
They're going to make it federal. They're going to take it federal, though. Yeah, but they're not going to win there either.
Huh? We're going all the way. The Indians are going all the way.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations to your Indians.
They got lucky. They got lucky as hell, night. But they won. The way they won, I don't know if you saw the game or not, but the way they won was we had to get one more run in the 9th inning, and none of our hitters can hit. I don't know how they win so many games. So, but he did get a hit. He got hit. And that scored the winning run because the bases were loaded.
Hey, they don't ask how; they just ask how many.
It doesn't matter how. Right. And one other thing I want to mention here too is, I'm thinking about this is, we are going to have on Ohio Political News coming up October 21st. We are going to have a town hall on abolishing property taxes. Palashnik Galloway, they're going to be there. Brian Massey's going to be there. But that, we'll give you more information. But October 21st, that's what we're doing. October 21st, we are going to have this big town hall. And it's going to be in Cleveland. There appeared this in 150th is a Hungarian Reformed Church in their banquet hall. But, yeah, we're going to live stream it. I'm hoping to get a good crowd. We'll see. We should. We have to. But what we're trying to do here, Tim, in Ohio, is we're trying to abolish property taxes. Just once and for all.
They're doing it in Texas as well. I think they should do it everywhere.
No one's done it yet, though. If we do accomplish it, we would be the first state.
You'd be the first state to repeal the property taxes, but there are a lot of states that don't have property tax.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Well, or at least it's not as onerous as it is in Ohio. And, up in New Hampshire, they don't have income tax, but they've got a whale of a property tax. So there are different ways to slice that cat. But, yeah,
right.
I think property tax is immoral. I think a great start, a lot of states are going to get rid of property tax for seniors. You hit 65, you don't owe tax anymore because your kids aren't in school. You've paid in your whole life. Kind of as a retirement benefit. I know the state of Virginia already exempts disabled veterans. If you're a 100% disabled veteran, regardless of age, you don't owe property tax. So there are a lot of different ways to approach this, and I think Ohio can do a lot better without property tax. You can fund your schools a different way.
Well, the state, the way I look at it is the state should be funding the schools. They're state schools, right? They're government schools. Why are we funding it locally with our own property tax money? So let the state collect the tax money, let them fund the schools and run the schools. And they'll start doging the school systems because they're just going to have limited funds. With property taxes, it's unlimited because they just put another levy. Well, now people don't have the money. Don't have the money to pay those property taxes anymore. they're people, and if you don't
Well,
pay a property
school
tax,
districts-
they get rid of you and they keep the house. So that's not very fair either. So that there's a lot of people becoming homeless. Then we had a record number of foreclosures in Cuyahoga County recently. So we had a record number of people that are behind 2 payments, and a third payment they're coming for the house. So in other words, this has got to stop, and it is grassroots driven. And 80% of the people that we've talked to, and Brian's helping to get signatures in a big way. We need a lot of signatures, 420,000 signatures valid. But 80% of the people are saying, yeah, it gets on the ballot. We're going to vote to abolish property taxes. So, all right. So, what's your last words of wisdom here? Let's just give me some words of wisdom on that government shutdown. Are you concerned? You going to stay up all night worrying about it, or what?
I'm going to stay up all night with popcorn, counting down to midnight like it's New Year's Eve.
Right. I know, it could be fun.
Shut him down, boys. Shut him down.
Right, shut it down. All right, well, that's enough. I want to appreciate you coming on tonight and all this kind of stuff. So we'll Monday nights we've been doing this, and it's been it's been
always
lot of
fun, Joe.
Yeah. All right, Tim. Hey, have a good night, and God bless. See you.
Now you're the ones who've lost their touch.